I'm a former visa officer and licensed U.S. immigration attorney, and today we're going to talk about what to do if you can't get a visa appointment in time to make it for your purpose of travel in the United States. And this is something very common, especially after the pandemic. There's long wait times at many U.S. embassies and consulates around the world. And what can you do? Let's go into it. Now, if this is your first time to my channel, please hit subscribe because I'm always making new videos on the mysterious world of US visas, and you want to be the first to be notified when they come out. Now, if you're someone who needs to get to the US, whether it's to start a program of study, or perhaps you're going for an important conference, or perhaps you're just going for vacation and you want to go for your niece's birthday party, these are all important events, and that might require you to get to the US by a certain amount of time. So what happens if you go onto your US embassy or consulate's website and you simply can't get an appointment in time? Well, you have two options. The first option is to book the first available appointment, even if it's way out in the distance, and try to request an expedited visa appointment. Now, every embassy and consulate will save a few slots a day for expedited visa appointments for people who just really urgently need those visas approved. Now, here's the catch. The reason for your purpose of travel has to be eligible for an expedited visa appointment, and that doesn't always work for everybody's reasons. So in the examples that I gave you, if you are going because your father in the US, who's an American citizen and been there for many years, is going into open heart surgery and you need to be there for him, that very well may qualify for a medical expedite request. But if you're someone who is just going for your niece's birthday party in a couple of weeks, then the officer probably isn't going to think that that is important enough for you to get a slot on the expedited visa appointment list. Now, keep in mind that so many people are requesting expedited appointments at all times that it is really difficult to convince an officer that your vacation is going to be more important than somebody's medical trip or something really important like that, where they have to be there for a family member who has a medical emergency. Okay, so that is option number one. Book the first available appointment and then apply for an expedite. You need to have an appointment already to qualify for an expedite. So, this is a risk because now you have to pay money and you have to make sure that you get an appointment first. But it is absolutely necessary to getting that expedite approved. One other thing that many people don't know about expedited visa appointments is that if you get the expedite visa approved, you go in for your interview, and then you get denied your visa, it's very unlikely that you will qualify for another expedited visa appointment the next time you apply, okay? So that makes the stakes even higher that you get approved when you get an expedited visa appointment, because you're gonna lose your chance to be able to go quicker, for emergency purposes if you don't get your visa approved. So the second thing that you can do if you can't get an available visa appointment in your home country or in your hometown or the embassy or consulate closest to you is that you can actually apply at a different consulate or embassy in your home country, or you can even apply outside of your country somewhere else, okay? And this is called a third country national appointment. And the State Department has actually said, especially in helping facilitate people's travel and helping them, get the visa appointments they need, that any person in the world can actually apply anywhere else in the world, okay? So that is the general policy. However, keep in mind that it is more complicated than you expect. When you're applying outside of your home country, oftentimes the visa officer working in a different country is not going to be familiar with citizens with your country's passport. So that's number one. You're going to go to the window of an officer, in a foreign country. Let's just say you are from China, and right now there's no available visa appointments in China. And you decide that you're going to fly to Ecuador because, there's cheap flights there and it's easy to get it. And you go to Ecuador. Well, guess what? A visa officer who has been working in Ecuador for the past 2 years is probably not going to be very familiar with the situations facing Chinese visa applicants. Okay, this is just one example because this is actually something that happened during the pandemic. A lot of Chinese citizens were applying in Guayaquil or Quito in Ecuador, and they were getting their visas denied because those visa officers don't understand the situation with a Chinese citizen and will say, you know what, I would prefer for you to go back to your home country and apply there. But that's where you left because you couldn't find a visa appointment, okay? So what can you do to make sure that you're successful if you're applying as a third country national outside of your home country? Well, this is where expert help is going to be really important. As a former visa officer, I have helped many people be successful in their third country national applications, and just expect that it's going to be a tougher interview. So you need to be more prepared. You don't want to get denied a visa and end up having to fly all the way back home and spending lots of money and time and effort and not being able to get that visa. Okay, so this is where working with a former visa officer like myself to go over your situation, have a strategy in place, practice multiple mock interviews so that you feel confident knowing exactly what to expect. This is all going to be very important in succeeding at your visa interview. Now, if you get denied a visa, keep in mind that that goes into your visa record forever. And you really want to avoid visa denials at all costs because that will mean that you'll have problems down the line applying for another visa, whether it's the same category or a totally different category, because all of those notes are connected, and having a visa denial will just make it generally harder to get your next visa approved, even if it's for some other purpose of travel. So I hope this video has been helpful for you, shedding some light on your options if you're really having trouble. I know the State Department is working really hard to get those wait times down, but in the meantime, use these two options. See if there's a way that you can get a faster interview so that you can get that visa approved so you can go ahead and achieve your goals and dreams in the United States. Okay, if you want to book a one-on-one session with me, visit me at www.zfvisa.com and you can book a one-on-one session so I can help you come up with a strategy on how to be successful at your US visa interview. Good luck.